familiar, however you identify. Today we're talking about From Season 3. These are my honest and more so disgruntled thoughts and opinions of Season 3. So we're a week removed from the Season 3 Episode 10 finale of From. And that seems about the appropriate amount of procrastination for me to give you guys my likes, dislikes, and deal breakers moving into Season 4. Season 3, in comparison to its predecessors, has greatly missed the mark, and I don't think anyone is afraid to say it. As a matter of fact, I'll be first and volunteer myself as tribute to say that Season 3 has been less than desirable. Seasons 1 through 3 of From kind of remind me of that unfinished horse drawing meme that a lot of people use to describe Game of Thrones Seasons 7 and 8. If I had to use 3 G's to describe From Season 1, 2, and 3 in chronological order, it would be godly, great, and garbage. Before watching Episode 10, I personally thought to myself, other than the death of Tien Chin, Dale's deserved demise, and the last 7 minutes of Episode 8, this season has really been an actionless soap opera. But Episode 10 alone, by itself, kind of makes me want to admit myself into the psych ward because I gotta wait until 2026 until Season 4. But before I get disrespectful, let me say, rest in peace my girl Tien Chin. Rest in peace to Dale. Rest in peace to Elgin. Rest in peace my boy Jim. I know you about to be rolling over in your grave how they about to write this Tabitha and Jade little side love story. I know. Rest in peace to you. Shout out my girl Sarah for keeping my dog Boyd's soul intact. He needed that. Shout out my dog Boyd for literally being the blackest character in television this past series. I'm talking about the mannerisms, the reactions. He was really channeling his inner Clay Davis. Shit. Let's continue. Executive producer Jeff Pinkner says, the show is about the characters and their plights. The mystery exists to service the characters, and the answer to the mysteries will fuel more journey for the characters. Based on these loose quotes alone, I believe now is a pivotal point in the show's fandom to either double down for the ride or cut ties early and avoid bigger disappointment later on. I'm gonna tell y'all which way I'm leaning more toward on the fence, but first, let's watch this interview clip from the cast and crew of From, posted 3 months ago by CBR.
Yeah, and then importantly, and we said this from the beginning, and we said this when we were selling the show, this show is not about the mystery. This show is about the characters living in a set of circumstances, the answers that they, the audience, we want to share or know will come out along the way. It's not going to be a big payoff at the ending. I think the most interesting thing about this show is the answers to the mysteries are just going to fuel more journey and more complications for the characters. If this were only about what are the answers, either the audience is like, oh, that was really cool, moving on to the next, or else they're disappointed because the mystery didn't live up to the expectation. So really, if you care about their plights, the mysteries just service that along the way.
And to answer your original question, we are constantly, like, it's a very fluid process, like, in terms of, like, when we're going to reveal what. And, for example, what we ended last season with, you know, the cliffhanger with Tabitha, in the original plan for the show, that was going to come much later. You know, and we're like, oh, you know what, that'd be a lot of fun to slide up to here. Because, as Jeff said, it's like, we often talk about the show, it's a character drama masquerading as a horror series.
Yeah.
And so, you know, just keeping that trail of breadcrumbs alive and rewarding, because it's threading the needle of, like, giving enough answers that the audience is satisfied and that the show is compelling, but not giving so many that we're getting ahead of ourselves. So it's a very organic process and very fluid.
Mahoney straight up says the mystery is not the focus for this show. It's about falling in love with the characters. And here's my issue with that. They've been selling this show as a mystery from day freaking one. Every season's poster or thumbnail has symbolism to the mysteries that will take place within the season. Exhibit A, B, and C. In an article from Slash Films published back in February of 2022 by Joshua Meyer, executive producer Jeff Pinkner says,
I think that having done Lost and then taking the lessons of Lost, the storytelling lessons, and sort of ran them through a filter of Fringe and tried to apply them here, I think we're approaching every season like its own chapter with its own questions and own answers.
Pinkner said the 10-episode first season of From will have a contained arc, which is good news for anyone who's interested in the show, but worried that it might draw out its mysteries over multiple seasons. And to that, Jeffrey, I'm calling bullshit. And here's why. If every season is supposed to have its own answers, Where are the answers to the bigger mysteries that we've been chasing since season 1? What about the monsters? What about the talisman? What about the dead ghost children that can't say anything other than Ankui? What about the boy in white? These are all huge questions that still haven't been answered from season 1, but I thought they were supposed to be a contained arc. This is just example 1 of how this show and their directors intentionally misled us. Jeff Pinkner again. He went on to explain how the audience's reaction to Lost informed his approach to the mysteries and storytelling of From, adding,
The quote is sort of reinforcing and playing along with the audience's experience of the show. We're aware what the audience is asking and looking for, and so being mindful of the questions and knowing that we have the answers and using all of it really to just focus back on what are the characters going through. Really, that's the reason we're so enamored with our cast, is we're taking kind of a Twilight Zone trope and using it to explore humanity.
Jeffrey, listen, that sounds nice, but you can't market a show as mystery, hook us in with all these strange, compelling elements, and then pivot midway and say, oh, the mystery doesn't matter anymore. As a matter of fact, it never mattered at all. This is example number two of how this show is misleading. All honesty, it feels like the show is walking on a tightrope. On one side, you've got the mystery, and on the other side, you've got the characters. But instead of leaning into one direction, they're wobbling trying to balance at both and failing at both. As a viewer, you kind of sense that lack of focus. The mysteries aren't getting resolved. The characters aren't getting the depth and backstory they deserve. So instead of delivering on either side, they're just stringing us along with a little bit of both, and it's frustrating. Pinkner says he learned from his mistakes with Lost, but it seems like he's making the same mistake twice. The only difference is, at least with Lost, I got to know who the characters were before they landed on the island. Midway through the show, I knew good and damn well who Jack was, who Kate was, who John Locke, Sawyer, Big Hurley. I knew all of them then and now. Now, we can all be honest. Season 3 was a letdown, as I've been saying in this entire video. However, I still had emotional optimism for this show because, you know, some shows you just got to stand by them and ride it out no matter what. But this quote really ruined all of that for me. These two goobers being J.J. Abrams disciples really made this last quote the final nail in the From coffin for me. Here's the quote.
Lost was perhaps the ultimate mystery box show, meaning it adhered to the concept that sometimes it's better to keep teasing the mystery inside a metaphorical box without actually opening said box to see what's inside. This phrase was made popular by J.J. Abrams, who gave a literal TED Talk on the subject.
Hey, J.J. Abrams, look, if you're watching this, look at me. Do I look like a bitch to you? The fact that these two, Jeff Pinkner and John Griffin, are so closely related to a man who has already let me down with a similar show and concept, you no longer get any benefit of the doubt and deserve all skepticism. I've basically been tuning in every week to get disrespected.
I didn't know I came here to be disrespected.
But you know, sometimes when you're in an abusive or toxic relationship, you have to wake up and know when to say, enough is enough. And that's where I'm at with From. This video is my first step in walking away. Not completely, but I'm done with the week-to-week roller coaster of emotions that is this television show. And I am also really excited they got renewed for season 4. When it ends, I know I'll have something to watch. That gets me to my next point. From now on, I'll either binge the season once they're all done, or I'll wait until the series as a whole wraps up and watch it all at once. Furthermore, they made it very clear that what I'm looking for, the answers, the big reveal, is just not gonna happen. This clip was my revelation, and that's okay. Rejection is a part of life, and it's apparent because I'm here for the mystery, but the mystery is in fact not here for me. My mom taught me that when people show you their true colors, you believe them, and that's what I believe with this show. Upon further reflection, once I put my pride aside, you know, as a person, anytime I'm feeling emotional or I'm feeling upset, I like to take a step back and try to see my actions through the other person's lens so I can say to myself, maybe I am tripping. And that's almost what I did with this show, because they truly didn't mislead us if you think about it. They told us who they were the whole time. I just projected my love for mystery and science fiction onto these people's idea. So the writers didn't really mislead us per se. The writers didn't really let me down. They more so let down my expectations for their creation. And I can admit, that is a little entitled as a fan. But I'm man enough to admit when I'm tripping. And I feel like I was tripping a little bit on this one. Y'all still very much hoes. Oh, but before y'all go, let me know what y'all think. Give me your honest feedback, because it's been over a year, maybe a little more, since I posted. But, you know, a new year is coming up, and why not come out of hibernation for something that I love right now? Let me know in the comments if y'all are feeling the same frustrations, or if you're still holding out hope, or hell, if you just love From as much as me and my wife do. Either way, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'm gonna get up with y'all next time.